Hello Kanna, I hope that you all are fit and fine, and let me tell you that I am completely fine as well. Finally, we are going to start with the first lecture of the CA Intermediate Income Tax batch for May 25, September 25 and January 2026 examinations. I am also as excited as you are. Today we are going to begin with the concepts of income tax. Finally, I am going to introduce you to the subject of income tax, but I know that you have been patient for so many days before this batch has started, and I want you to be a little more patient for a few more minutes because I want to share with you a small little story. This story is about me when I was doing my articleship. During my articleship, my parents celebrated their 25th anniversary. And I know 25th anniversary of your parents is a very special occasion and you really want to do something special for them. So I decided that I want to give them a gift. I went shopping and I searched for gifts and I found the perfect gift which I wanted to give them, and the price of this gift was rupees 10,000. Right now, being a chartered accountant, I can easily afford this gift. However, when I was doing my articleship, it was very difficult because I did not have that much money. So, I wanted funds to buy this gift for my parents' 25th anniversary. How will I get the funds? Since I was doing my articleship, I got my stipend. You know how much was my stipend? It was rupees 2,500. Sir, you would have had some savings also, no? Kanna, with just rupees 2,500 rupees as stipend, what do you expect me to save? Hence, I did not have any savings at all. I just received the stipend of 2,500 from my principal, and this was the funds in my hand. However, how much did I want? I wanted 10,000 rupees. So, naturally, when you are having only insufficient funds with you and you want more money, where will you go? I know you are thinking something else because it's my parents' 25th anniversary, but naturally you will go to your parents only to ask for money. Similarly, even I went to my parents to ask for money, but I did not tell them that I wanted to buy them a gift. Instead, I told that I wanted to buy some books for my CA final preparation. Okay, and I went to my parents and I asked them rupees 5,000. How much did I ask? Rupees 5,000. But sir, you wanted 10,000. Okay, but you received only 2,500, or you have only 2,500. So the balance is 7,500, no? Why did you ask only 5,000 rupees from your parents? Because every one of you might know that there is a limit up to which you can ask money from your parents, and your parents will not cross question you and they will give you the money directly. For my parents, that limit was 5,000 rupees. If I ask anything above 5,000, they will definitely go in detail and ask me what books do you want to buy, from where do you want to buy, what is the price of the book, etc. etc. Hence, to keep it a secret and to play it safe, I asked only rupees 5,000 from my parents. Now I have 2,500 stipend with me, 5,000 I got from my parents, and now I need 2,500 extra. Now naturally, what will you do if you are having insufficient funds? You have asked from your parents also, still the funds are insufficient. Now where will you go? You will obviously go to your friends and ask them for money. Hence, there was one more person with me who was doing articleship. He was a very dear friend of mine. So I asked him for rupees 2,500 because he also got his stipend recently only. I know that he would not have spent his money. So I told, Macha, please give me this 2,500 for now. I will buy the gift for my parents, and when I'll get my next stipend, my entire stipend, I will give it to you back. With friends, you don't have the concept of interest. Okay. So now, after asking from my friends, I got a total of 10,000 rupees. This 10,000 rupees, I bought the gift, I celebrated the 25th anniversary of my parents. I surprised them and they were also very, very happy. Okay, so it was a very memorable experience for me. Now, why did I tell you this story? Because there is a reason behind it. Income tax or a first class, if sir is telling you a story, definitely there is a link with income tax. So what is the link now? Now let's come to a bigger family, our family as a nation, that is India. India. So India, Namada Nadu, India is our country. So to develop the country, whose responsibility it is to develop the country? It is the government's responsibility or our responsibility? Answer is both government as well as us. We have to go hand in hand to develop the nation. But when it comes to a broader meaning, the government is responsible for developing the nation. Now, how will the government develop the nation? The government needs some resources, right? Just like that, India will not develop, correct? India needs infrastructure, India needs good education, good healthcare. So many things are necessary for the nation to develop. So, to provide all these resources, there are two things which are absolutely necessary. What are those two things? First and foremost, I know that you guessed it and you guessed it right only, is money. First is money and second is power. Because using money, you can buy whatever you want and you can spend to develop the nation. However, if you do not have the power or if the government does not have the power, they will not be able to spend that money also. Because sometimes what happens, there is a difference of opinion. Some people want that the greenery should be maintained. So, no building should be constructed in the forest region, or farms should be more and the buildings should be less. And some people want more and more buildings. So now, some people want to spend on protecting wildlife, some people want to spend on building more and more buildings, and both are contradictory. Either this will happen or that will happen. Now, in such type of situation, if there is no power in the hands of anybody, then you cannot make a decision, because the people who want to spend on wildlife will fight with the people who want to spend on buildings, and vice versa will happen. No one will be able to spend anything and everyone will keep on fighting with each other. Like that, the nation will not develop. Hence, along with money, power is also very, very necessary, because only if a person is having power, then you will be able to obey that person when he is taking the decision, or when the government is taking the decisions. Only if they have power, we will be able to abide by those decisions, or they will be able to implement it in the country. Now let's come to the first concept, Kanna, that is money. See, Kanna, the government wants money to develop the nation. From where will this money come from? Here I want you to link this concept with the example that I have taken. What did I tell? Where did I get money from? I got money from stipend, correct? Hence, even the government will get money from its own ventures or own businesses. Definitely, if the government themselves are having the money, why will they need money from anyone else? They can use their own money, correct? Sir, what is this own venture or own businesses? Karna, there are many organizations that are owned by the government. It might be completely owned by the government or partially owned by the government. For example, there is the Reserve Bank of India or RBI. Reserve Bank of India gives huge dividend to the government. So this is an income for the government. Similarly, the government is owning railways. The government has BSNL. Okay, then the government has oil corporation. So there are so many businesses. The government has stake in State Bank of India. It has stake in Life Insurance Corporation of India. Like that, there are so many businesses which are owned by the government. It can be partially owned or completely owned, and the profits from these businesses are the government's income. So first, the government will always try to use their own income for developing the nation. Next, what did I tell you? That I asked money from my parents. Correct? Money from my parents. Now, who are the parents for the government? Tell me. Who are the parents for the government? The parents for the government are us, the people, because we only vote, and because of our votes only the government is formed. Hence, we are the parents of our government, and naturally, when the government will need funds, it will first come to its citizen for the funds. And the collection of money from citizen is only called taxes. Collection of money from citizen is called taxes. So they will collect taxes from us. Now, what did I tell you? I could ask only for rupees 5,000 from my parents. There was a limit, because beyond that my parents would get agitated and they will start cross questioning me. Similarly, even the government can only collect taxes from the people up to a certain limit. If it crosses the limit, then we people will start cross questioning the government and they will come into trouble. We will shoo out the government and we will bring in the new government in place. That is why every single political party wants to stay in the government, so they will not try to collect taxes beyond a certain limit. So there is a limit to collecting taxes also. But most of the time, the expenditure of the government is more than the own funds and taxes combined. Hence, additional funds are necessary. So, to get that additional funds only, the government goes to the third step. What is the third step that I took? I took money from my friends. What is this called? It is called borrowings. Or as many of you would have said in your mind, it is called taking loan. Correct? So the government also takes loan from other organization. It can take loan from some other countries like the USA, okay, or like Pakistan. Oh, sorry, not Pakistan. We might give loan to Pakistan, but we will never take loan from Pakistan. And from some other organizations like World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, etc. So the government takes loans from other countries or other organizations. So these three are basically the main sources of funds for the government. Using these funds only, they will spend the money to develop the nation. Okay. Now, what are we concerned about? Our subject is taxes. So we are more concerned about taxes. What is tax first and foremost? How are the taxes collected from the people? What are the different types of taxes? And how is that provision implemented throughout the India? What are the different rules, regulations, types, everything? It is a detailed subject, and we are going to learn it in that manner only and conceptually for our intermediate examinations. I told you, right, your income tax book alone is more than 1200 pages. So there is loads and loads to cover, don't worry. Coming to taxes. What is tax? So now I am coming to the notes part, and I am going to take the classes using these notes only. So let me give you a brief as to how we are going to study. When I am going to take the classes, I am going to teach the concepts using these notes only, because at the end during your examination you are going to refer these notes only. So I want you to have each and every word that is given in these notes at the tip of your fingers, also the tip of your tongue. Okay. Then what about the study material, sir? Kanna, when we are completing all these notes, what I want you to do is, after completing the chapter, I want you to take the study material, take a highlighter, and then go through the entire chapter in the study material. Then only you will be able to know what type of language is used by ICAI, because you are also expected to use that language in the examination. When I am teaching you the concepts, as you can see, there are many keywords here. Okay, so you will be thorough with the keywords. However, when it comes to drafting sentences for that it is important that you go through your study material. After reading both of them, you will be very easily be able to attend the questions in the examination. So what are you going to do? After completing the entire chapter, you are going to go through the study material. Whatever the important points I am teaching in the class, that you are going to mark it with the highlighter in the study material. Fine. Now, coming to the concept. What did I tell you? To develop the nation, the government needs power and money. Money comes from government's own ventures, or you can also write it here, own businesses. Karna, if I am highlighting something in yellow in my notes, you please don't highlight, because basically I am going to highlight everything in my notes. However, if I am writing something within the sheet, that is the sheet that is given to you also, I also definitely want you to take a pen and note down all those points. I am not going to repeat it again and again, maybe 1 or 2 times I will tell, but if I am not telling, please have it understood that within this page, if I am writing something, then I also want you to write the same thing in your notebook. Fine. So own venture means own businesses. You also please write own business. Here if you want, you can write example, railway, RBI, SBI, LIC, etc. Fine. Now let's come to taxes. First let us finish borrowings quickly. Borrowings is what? It is nothing but loan. Example, loan from WTO or World Trade Organization and IMF or International Monetary Fund. Now let's come to taxes. Sir, what are taxes? Taxes is nothing but the money charged by the government on products, income or activity to meet the common welfare expenses. So what are taxes? Taxes is nothing but money collected from the government, money collected by the government from the people. Okay, so that is only taxes. Taxes can be on anything. It can be on a product also, it can be on the income also, or it can be on any activity also. Product means what? For example, this pen. Activity means what? For example, activity of me teaching you. This can also be taxable. And income means what? Whatever income I am earning, that can also be taxable. So this is only tax. Now, broadly, there are two types of taxes. One is direct tax and the other is indirect tax. First is direct tax and second is indirect tax. Sir, what is direct tax? What is indirect tax? Direct tax means taxes that is collected directly. Indirect tax means tax that is collected indirectly. Very simple. Sir, you just told the exact word. But what about the meaning? Sir, what is this direct and what is this indirect? Let me tell you. The biggest example for direct tax in India is income tax, and the biggest example for indirect tax in India is GST, or you can say the goods and services tax. There is also customs. So these are the largest indirect taxes. And income tax and GST both are a part of this paper tax for your examination. So income tax you are going to learn from me, and GST either you are going to learn yourself or from your GST faculty. Now, what is the difference between direct and indirect? Direct tax means the tax that is collected directly from the person. Indirect tax means it is collected indirectly from the person. How is it collected indirectly? It means the person who is paying the tax is not directly paying the tax. He is paying the tax through someone else. He is paying the tax through an intermediary. For example, there is Mr. A, there is Mr. B. Okay. Let's say Mr. A is selling a pen of rupees 100 to Mr. B, and Mr. B is giving rupees 100 to Mr. A. Correct? So this is a normal transaction. Now this pen includes tax of rupees 10. It includes tax of rupees 10. So when Mr. B is buying this this pen from Mr. A, he is just paying 100. He does not even realize that along with this 100 rupees, there is a tax of 10 rupees included in the 100 rupees. Then what will Mr. A do? Mr. A will take this 100 rupees, he will keep 90 rupees with himself, and he will pay rupees 10 as tax to the government. This is nothing but indirect tax. So tax that is collected indirectly. So B is only paying the tax, but while paying the tax, he is indirectly paying the tax through A. He is not even realizing that he is paying the tax. So Kanna, direct tax and indirect tax, which is very easy for the government to collect and which is very difficult for the government to collect. Is direct tax easy to collect or is indirect tax easy to collect? You tell me. What do you think? Direct tax or indirect tax? Some of you might think direct tax is easy to collect because while collecting direct tax, you just directly have to contact the person and that person is going to pay you the tax. There is no intermediary involved in paying the tax. However, I want to tell you that you are totally wrong, because indirect tax is easier to collect, because while paying the indirect tax, there is no pinch. For example, when I told you that Mr. B is paying 100 rupees to buy the pen, he does not even know that he is paying the tax of rupees 10. So easily he is giving that money for buying that pen. But if you directly ask Mr. B to give 10 rupees as taxes, it will hurt him. He will feel that why should I give this money to the government? So hence, direct tax is difficult to collect and indirect tax is generally easier to collect because of the mindset while paying the taxes. Now, let's talk more about direct tax and indirect tax. So, direct tax is charged on income or wealth. So, for example, let's say you have an income of 10 lakh rupees. Direct tax means what? Directly I will come and I will tell you, on this 10 lakh rupee you have to pay 1 lakh rupees as income tax. This is direct. Okay. But what about indirect tax? Indirect tax is charged on goods or services. See, like I told you, here in the pen example, pen is a goods. So indirectly it is charged on the goods. So that is indirect tax. Similarly, indirect tax can be charged on services also. So for example, if you are buying my classes, let's say you buy my classes for 10,000 rupees, it might also include some GST that I am going to pay to the government as taxes. But when I am collecting from you, most probably you will not even know that I am collecting GST. Sometimes I might show it separately, sometimes I might not show it separately. Now, next, direct tax, incidence does not pass, and in indirect tax, incidence passes to end consumer. Sir, what is this incidence, sir? Incidence does not pass means you cannot recover the tax. Cannot, please write, cannot recover the tax. Okay. Sir, cannot recover the tax means what? For example, if government is coming to you and telling you that you have to pay 1 lakh rupees as tax, then you cannot escape. You definitely have to pay that tax. You cannot ask someone else to pay the tax on your behalf. So that is not possible. However, when it comes to indirect tax, incidence passes to end consumer, or you can also write tax can be recovered from end consumer. Tax can be recovered from end consumer. So this means what? It means that if you do not want to pay the tax, then you can make someone else pay the tax. How will you make someone else pay the tax? You can make him pay the tax by giving them the product. So who is the final consumer? Finally, who is having the product is only going to pay the tax. For example, see here. In the earlier example that I told you, A sold a pen to Mr. B, correct? So Mr. B paid 100 rupees for the pen, in which tax of 10 rupees was included. Now, if B does not want to pay this tax of 10 rupees, he is very, very sad. Now through my classes, he came to know that he paid a tax of 10 rupees to the government. This also he did not want to pay. So he became very, very sad. So now what he can do? he can pass on this tax to some other person. How will he pass on? Let me tell you. He will sell the same pen to Mr. C. For simplicity's sake, I am telling, he also sold this pen for rupees 100. In this, there was tax of rupees 10. So what did he do? He paid tax of 10 rupees to government and he collected the tax of 10 rupees from Mr. C. You get my point? He collected tax from Mr. C and he paid it to the government. Now, if you are able to appreciate the concept, very good. But if not, I don't want to go in detail in this concept because this is the concept of ITC or input tax credit that you are going to learn in your GST. So this concept I am going to leave to your GST faculty to explain to you even better or even further. So this is the concept of GST. Basically, in indirect tax, you can pass on the tax to the end consumer. If you don't want to pay the tax, you make the other person pay the tax by selling them the product. Okay. Then, direct tax is a progressive tax, whereas indirect tax is a regressive tax. Sir, what is progressive tax and what is regressive tax? In 12th standard, 11th standard, we have studied this, sir, but we do not remember, sir. So please tell us once again. What is progressive and what is regressive? Progressive tax means very simple, Kana. Rich are taxed more and poor are taxed less. So progressive system of taxation means the rich people, the people who are earning higher money should pay higher taxes. People earning lower money should pay lower taxes or no taxes. This is only progressive system. In India, income tax is a progressive tax. Sir, how is it a progressive tax? I'll give you an example. In India, when you are having an income below rupees 3 lakh or below rupees 2,50,000 for that matter, you need not pay any tax. However, if your income is more than 15 lakhs, you have to pay 30% as tax. If your income is more than 2,50,000, you have to pay 5% as tax. So similarly, as and when the income is growing, the tax will also keep on growing. Initially there is no tax, then slowly the tax will increase. This is called progressive system of taxation. Sir, then GST or indirect tax is a regressive system of taxation. Sir, what is this regressive system? In this, does it mean that the poor are taxed more and rich are taxed less? Not at all, Kanna. Appadi pandrathu possible kadayadu. It is not even possible to do that in a country. So regressive system of taxation means all are taxed equally. Rich and poor both are taxed in the same manner. Okay. So if I am buying this pen, I also have to pay 10 rupees as tax. And in future, if Mukesh Ambani is buying the same pen, he also has to pay the same 10 rupees as taxes. Hence, me and Mukesh Ambani, even though he is so much more richer than me, but he has to pay the same tax as I want to pay. Sir, so this is very unfair, correct? In a regressive system of taxation, the poor and the rich both are taxed in the same manner, the same taxes are collected from them. Yes, Kanna, it is correct. But however, what happens is generally whatever necessary items are there, for example, let's say water, okay, or milk, or vegetables, or fruits, etc. Generally, there is a very low tax of 5% or there is no tax, that is 0% under indirect tax. And if you go to luxury items like luxury cars, then the taxes can go from 28% to even 100% tax. That is why generally what happens, if rich people are buying more of some assets, they are taxed more, and if all the people are buying certain assets including poor people, then it is taxed less in indirect tax. That is why even if there is regressive system of taxation, still there is a balance that is maintained by the government. So now you know all about money, correct? So money comes from three sources: own business, taxes and borrowings. We are concerned about taxes. there are two types of tax, direct tax and indirect tax. What is direct tax? The biggest example is income tax. Direct tax is charged on income or wealth, and in indirect tax the biggest example is GST. It is charged on goods or services. Now in direct tax, incidence does not pass, or the tax cannot be recovered from anyone else. But in indirect tax, the incidence passes to the end consumer. You can recover the tax from the end consumer. Direct tax is a progressive system of taxation where the rich are taxed more, poor are taxed less. Whereas indirect tax is a regressive system of taxation where everyone is taxed equally. Okay, so this is the difference between direct tax and indirect tax. Now we are going to jump into the next concept, that is power. Okay, but I have seen that half an hour is over in this concept. So the power concept I am going to take in the next video. So see you in the next video, Kana. Till then, take care. Bye bye.